I'd like to welcome you all to the Church of Perpetual Life. I'm so glad that you're here tonight. We have a couple of things tonight. We have a great presentation for you, and afterwards we have a wonderful concert, and I hope you'll be able to enjoy both. Cryonics and life extension has gotten a great deal of media attention this past week and this past month. I don't know if you're aware, but the front page of the New York Times on Sunday had a great article. We have it in the back if you'd like to see it. The front page, an article on a cryonics patient. And then inside the paper, it was followed by 3 full pages of the story. And that, of course, led to stories all over the globe that were talking about that. Also, in the Shanghai Daily News, there was another article that was about a different cryonics story. The front page of the New Scientist magazine last week had an article about the possibilities of age reversal. The Siberian Times in Russia had a major article that was entitled, "Russian Scientists Make Progress on Secret of Eternal Life." And Natural News ran an article on dramatically extending human lifespans. And these are just to name a few of the articles that ran in this past week in papers all over the world. So I think what we're seeing are people are finally really getting an understanding that this can happen. Our church was contacted just yesterday by a group in the United Kingdom, in England, that's doing a documentary on transhumanism and human longevity for a future film that they're doing. Some of you may recall that the organization out of New York City, Vice Motherboard, came down and did some filming, and that documentary that they did, we expect to see sometime in January. On top of the stories, what I found that was really amazing were the number of people that reacted positively toward these stories of life extension and cryonics. Just a few short years ago, you wouldn't see that. Most of the comments would be negative, but there was an even balance, I thought, in the comments within the New York Times comment section online that were very positive. Many people that were very positive about the whole concept. And so I think people are starting to understand that and accept cryonics and life extension, that dying will be optional one day in the not too distant future, hopefully. Our speaker tonight will do a presentation on cryonics, and I'd like to know, by a show of hands, how many people are here for the very first time? For the very first time you're here? 1, 2, 3, 4, a few, 5, 6, okay. Shy people, only go like that. How many people here know what cryonics is? Know what cryonics is? The majority of you. Wonderful. Well, for those of you who don't know, we have a short video clip to explain a little bit about cryonics, and I found it enjoyable. Some of you may notice Dr. Max Moore in this clip. This is for the PBS Nova series, and Dr. Max Moore did a presentation here at this church just this past spring. And he's here in this clip. So, Douglas, if you'll put the lights down behind me, and we can run this clip from Nova and PBS on cryonics.
Near the hot desert just outside of Phoenix, Arizona, is a company called Alcor. Despite the high temperature outside, within, over 100 human bodies are being preserved at very low temperatures. Host David Pogue met with the president and CEO, Max Moore, to learn about the field of cryonics.
So who's in this gallery here?
These are some of our patients. We call them patients because we don't regard them as dead people. Their idea is that what we call death today is something of an arbitrary line. Really, it's today's doctors giving up and saying, there's nothing more I can do for this person, and I'm letting them go. What we're doing is we're saying, let's not quit there. Let's give the future a chance to bring these patients back.
Moore doesn't promise he'll be able to bring any of his patients back, but he thinks the chances are pretty good.
Already, we're seeing the field of regenerative medicine just burgeoning. We're already starting to replace organs and grow organ parts. And I think within the next 20 years, you're going to see some amazing developments. So pretty much any organ in the body will be replaceable, either with a biological one grown from your own tissue, or perhaps a synthetic organ.
After an Alcor member is declared legally dead, the patient is immediately placed in an ice bath. Then, the Alcor team restores respiration to make sure oxygen continues to flow to the brain until the body is cryopreserved. In fact, certain patients choose to preserve their heads alone. Ted Williams, the baseball star, is a famous Alcor neuro patient.
But here's the part I don't get. Suppose medical science does advance as you hope, and in 75 years they can revive this decapitated head. You don't have a body anymore.
Well, this is the way I look at it. I personally am a neuro member myself. I'm not taking along my body. My reasoning being that by the time I need this, my body's going to be a disaster area. So in my view, if you have the technology that can repair 100 billion damaged neurons, replacing this part is going to be pretty easy by comparison. But we leave that choice to our members. So let me show you the patient care bay.
Patient care bay.
Yes, this is where we have currently 117 patients, the oldest being Professor James Bedford, whose cryopreserved back in 1967.
Wow! Oh my gosh, this is very sci-fi.
It's not quite as sci-fi as in the movies where they always have a little frosty face behind a glass plate. Can't really do that, but here in these larger dewars we have 4 whole body patients, and we can also fit 5 neuro patients in the central column.
There's people in those cans.
That's right.
The bodies are wrapped in a sleeping bag to protect the skin from direct exposure to liquid nitrogen. Each one is held in its own aluminum compartment within the can.
So if we could see through these, we would see people just kind of like floating like this, or?
You'd see the aluminum pods, and inside they're actually head down. So that
Head down?
Yeah, so that the head would be the last thing to be exposed.
So are these heavily insulated? Are these basically giant thermoses?
Exactly. Just room temperature, a little bit cool to the touch.
Yep. That's not.
Inside is extremely cold, minus 196 C, minus 320 Fahrenheit.
I mean, you must get some strong reactions from people. You tell them what you do.
Especially when they don't really understand it. They think there's some kind of strange, creepy thing where you're freezing people. Why would you do that? But once they understand that really it's an extension of critical care medicine, it's just us picking up at the point where today's medicine gives up on people, it makes a lot more sense. When they see patients in hospitals being taken down 10 degrees C to slow down metabolism while you do brain surgery, it starts to make sense. When they look at the research into organ cryopreservation, the goal being to actually build an organ bank and keep a stock of organs rather than having to match one across the country very rapidly, it starts to make sense. It's certainly speculative, it's certainly not guaranteed, we're not sure if it's going to work, but it's not crazy, it's a shot, it gives you a chance.
And as for Max Moore?
You would live forever.
I don't use the word forever because forever is a very long time. There may be the heat death of the universe, some might explode in a few billion years, who knows. But indefinite lifespan I'm talking about. Really changing death from being compulsory to making it an option. So check back with me in 1,000 years and ask me if I've had enough.
Till then, Moore will be at Alcor. Well, at least his head will.
All right. So our speaker tonight will do a presentation for you on cryonics and
Near the hot desert.
little glitch. All set, Doug? All right. Our speaker is Caitlin Campbell, and she described herself as a hacker and cryonics advocate turned entrepreneur. She's going to explain to you a little bit about what hacker means. To me, it had a negative connotation, but in this case, it may not. Is that Mary? Hey, Mary. She's a lifelong student of philosophy. Her passion for human frontiers has led her to study and write extensively on transhumanism, cryonics, artificial intelligence, and open source software. Caitlin's work currently centers around her tech startup and her personal projects, which include leisure apps and experiments in task automation. She has been heavily inspired by thinkers like Ludwig Wittgenstein and Friedrich Nietzsche, as well as inventors and innovators such as Elon Musk. The title of her talk is The Moral Duty of Immortalists, Saving Lives in the Only Meaningful Way. Let's give a Hollywood welcome to Caitlin Campbell. Come up.
Let me get my mic on real fast. That's a part of that hacker thing. Okay. So, I believe I am ready to go here. So, first off, I'd like to thank the Church of Perpetual Life for hosting me. It is an absolute honor to be here. I hope that you guys are able to work with me here as I've worked with myself and learned about the sort of moral and moral implications that comes along with immortality. Now, my presentation I've broken into 3 parts, but we'll get to that in a second. So let's start with me, I guess. My name's Campbell. I am a cryonics advocate first off. I believe that cryonics is the technology that enables people like us living today to have the option of living for as long as we like. And we'll get into that, more details in that in a bit. I'm an entrepreneur. I love high risk, high energy, fun businesses. I have my own technology startup, and for the past 4 years have been involved in other technology startups based out of Morgantown, West Virginia. I am a hacker. Now, that's kind of an interesting word. When people think of hackers, they think of, I'm breaking into your computer and stealing your credit cards. When I think of that word, I don't think of that. I think of using systems in unintended ways. Well, breaking into someone's computer is definitely an unintended way of using a computer, but there are multiple ways that you can hack your world around you. I would argue cryonics is a life hack. It's hacking the biological systems in a way that they weren't intended to be used. And I think that sort of hacking mentality is something that a lot of people could benefit from. And I'm an amateur philosopher. I don't claim to be putting out sort of cited works, but I do think that there are some compelling arguments that I can make tonight. And I'm a passionate person. That's why I'm here. I believe that if you're passionate about something, you should go all out on it. If you believe something, you should persuade people to join you on your position. That's how the world gets better. Passionate people believing good things, doing things to help. So let's start with part 1 of my presentation. As immortalists, or people who seek or have some desire to become immortal, we have to look at some options. We have a plethora of things available to us. I mean, the Egyptian kings built ancient pyramids to gain immortality. We have a few more options. And what we need to do as immortalists is find out which of those options are feasible, realistic. We have, you can take supplements and hope. We can hope for an AI singularity or work towards it. We can help develop or hope for nanotechnology. And we could just take care of ourselves. And these are all options. But the problem with these options is what I call the bus problem. Now, what's the bus problem? The bus problem is something that comes from the entrepreneurial world. It's that if you have a startup, a company, and this company relies on a superstar person, a superstar programmer, a genius that gets everything done, well, if that person gets hit by a bus, what are you going to do? Your company's going down. Now, if you do take supplements, if you do take care of yourself, if you do everything possible to live the most ideal life and ideally make your lifespan long enough that these technologies can come and help you, the problem is a bus. You could be struck by a bus. And that is, my book, is unacceptable. I want to have that chance at immortality beyond just rolling the dice. So, what is actually available to us today? What technologies exist presently that we can use? And the answer is cryonics. Cryonics is here today. We saw that video that Max Moore was in, and we know that cryonics is a technology that's here. So let's take a look. Why cryonics? Why is cryonics the technology for immortalists or potential immortalists to consider? Well, it has scientific feasibility. Unlike some other potential paths, I know I mentioned earlier the Egyptian pharaohs hoping to get immortality through their pyramids. And I don't mean like memory immortality, I mean they actually use pyramids as a device to channel themselves to the next world. Cryonics has scientific feasibility. There are scientific pathways that make the technology at least potentially workable, and as I believe, extremely likely to be working. So, It's readily available. If you live in the United States, there are multiple options that you have. It's not like you have to rely upon one particular organization or person to provide it. There's competitors, there's a market, and it's there. It's financially available. This is the important point. I know a lot of people who were potentially interested in cryonics, but thought it was never for them. It was only for the Walt Disneys and Bill Gates out there. Funny thing about Walt Disney's, a lot of people seem to think that he was cryonically frozen, but as it turns out, he wasn't. And most importantly, it's a technology that's actually available today. So, we saw that cryonics video earlier, so I'll sort of skim over this. But cryonics is the process of being vitrified after your legal death, not necessarily frozen. Vitrification is the process of glassifying the liquids in your body. If you, that way, you can avoid ice damage and other things along those lines. I'm not a scientist, so I'm not the best person to speak about this, but just from what the literature is available, I think we can agree on this. So, now there are two major U.S. organizations that are cryonics focused. One's Alcor, like we saw in the video, and the other is Cryonics Institute. So let's take a look at a case study on the feasibility of cryonics financially and otherwise. Now, I'll say this case study is actually me. So this is actually what I have physically done with myself in order to move forward and hopefully to see a bit more what life has to offer beyond maybe 80, 90, or 100 years. Unlikely, but when I started cryonics, I was working at Best Buy. I was making $9.25 an hour. Pretty tight, because, paying for it. But it was doable for me, and I think it's doable for 99% of the people. It's just a matter of how you arrange things. So I went with Alcor's cheapest option, which was their $80,000 option. And I went about paying with it through a 20-year term life insurance policy. I couldn't afford it. I don't think most people can afford paying down $80,000 or $200,000 for such a procedure. But my life insurance, 20-year term, costs about $12 a month. In the long term, my plan is to leverage my 401k. And I've spoken with Alcor about this, and they have plans available where you can leverage retirement funds for your cryonic services. And my Alcor membership fee is roughly $50 a month. So putting that all together, my cryonic services, what I've signed up for, cost me $744 a year, or roughly $62 a month. Pretty good deal, considering what you get for it. I know people who pay $60 a month in lottery tickets, let alone something that potentially would be truly life-saving. What do people spend $744 on a year? Well, if you work 50 years a week, or 50 weeks a year, and you go get a morning coffee at Starbucks, that's about $744. Or if you eat lunch out, once a week, that's about the same too. Or if you're like me and you buy an article of clothing about once a month, that's the same price. So it's incredibly, incredibly affordable for almost everyone. But if you're in a situation where even $744, $60 a month is too much, there are cheaper options available. For students, Alcor offers a wonderful program. This is what I took advantage of in the beginning. It's the Alcor Student Discount Program. Factoring that same term life insurance in their reduced monthly fee, I was able to acquire my Cryonics membership for under $40. And Cryonics Institute is extremely important in that they provide a lower cost option. It's $120 a year, not a month, a year, $10 a month, plus an additional term life insurance policy. Their services only cost $30,000, so you're able to get a significantly cheaper 10, 20-year life term policy. And you can get yourself a cryonics policy that covers you for $20 a month. I don't know, I'm pretty sure there's some ad somewhere that says for X dollars, cents a day, you get these benefits. But if you could donate, or if you could put aside at least $20 a month, you can be in the running for immortality. There's no guarantees, of course, but there are chances that you can take, and I think that contributing that little bit of money towards cryonics can really save your life. So, what it comes down to is priorities. Most people can afford cryonics. I was making just above minimum wage many years ago, and I was able to afford cryonics. It's highly feasible. So, if we are immortalists, if we have these duties, what are they? Well, the second part of my presentation is going to deal with how, as immortalists, we examine the responsibilities that come along with it. So, the first story I'm going to tell you is an analogy by Peter Singer. Is anybody familiar with that name, Peter Singer? He is the father of modern activist philosophy. He's an animal rights philosopher, and he is extremely well known. The argument I'm going to use is based off of Peter Singer's child in the pond scenario. Now, I want you to imagine, we're going to do a thought experiment. I'm not a scientist, but I can do, I am a philosopher, and I can do thought experiments with you. No beakers and vials needed here. So, I want you to imagine this. You're walking down the road, you're walking down the sidewalk, and you see a small pond. It's muddy, it's shallow, maybe 2 feet deep at max, and you see a young child drowning in the pond. Would you save that child? Well, I'd hope so. Wait, hold on. I'm going to make the scenario a little bit more difficult. What if you just purchased some very nice shoes? You just dropped $80 on your shoes. Would you save the child? I'm getting silence here. I'm concerned. I would hope the answer is yes. So we know that for small inconveniences, saving lives, at least if we accept Peter Singer's argument here that you would save people's lives for minor inconveniences, is an option. The second photo, a bit dramatic, is something I'm taking from evangelical Christianity. So let's do another thought experiment. Let's say the positions of an evangelical Christian are true. Let's imagine that if you do not accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, that you will burn in hell eternally. If you accept these as true, what would you do? What is there to do morally? The only moral action you can take is spend as much of your time attempting to save people from the suffering as you can. Every second that you're not saving souls is a second wasted. So that's why when evangelical Christians come to me and they're trying to save my soul, I'll sit and I'll nod and I'll smile, because I understand that giving what they believe, they're doing an incredibly moral act. So, how does this all relate? We were talking about cryonics a second ago, and now I'm talking about Peter Singer and hell and Christians. Well, cryonics is, at this point in time, the only possible potential escape from death. As immortalists, we want to not die, and as immortalists, I hope that we've taken some steps to prevent that by means of cryonics or some other service. Now, if you are going to be frozen cryonically, you realize that cryonics is the only option ahead of you. And everyone who is not cryonically frozen will, in fact, die. Everybody's going to die who is not cryonically frozen, unless the AI singularity happens, but I don't think that's likely. I think death is more likely in the AI singularity with any reasonable amount of time. So what do you do? What does this mean? This means that just like the child in the pond, you need to potentially risk getting your shoes muddy. If you're a mortalist, You need to take that step into the pond. You need to say, hey, you know what? I'm signed up for Cryonics and I pay $30 a month. You should totally consider this. By simply saying that, by potentially going through a socially awkward situation, you may be saving your friends or your families or your relatives' life. The same thing goes with the evangelical Christian analogy. I'm not saying that you have to spend every second, every day thinking about advocating cryonics, but what I am saying is that you should at least consider it. So that brings me up to the third part of my presentation. How should we act? What are we to do? Well, I say we take a lesson from evangelical Christians and we act evangelically. Now, I'm not saying that everyone has to go out and give speeches and stand on soapboxes. I would actually advise against pulling up a box crate and yelling in New York Times. That's probably going to be bad for the image of cryonics. But what I am saying is that everybody should at least take a little effort to get their shoes muddy. You know, take that step. Make that little initiative to talk to your friends, family, and others that you know about cryonics. Let them know that it's a feasible option. Let them know that it's a thing that can be done. And it's going to be different for everybody. I enjoy speaking. I love being out in front of public. I enjoy working with computers. So what I do is speaking and making websites and helping people out. But if you're a musician, you can make music. If you are a business person, consider an investment in a cryonics firm. If you have a talent, consider using it. And all of these options are available. And that if we accept Peter Singer's argument that you have at least some moral duty to help that child by getting your shoes muddy, I think we can accept the argument that we have a duty to save people's lives by mentioning cryonics. You know, I'm pretty sure anybody who's an immortalist has at least seen or heard this quote, "Do not go gently into that good night, rage, rage against the dying of the light." You know, Dylan Thomas didn't write this poem purely as in our piece of art. It wasn't a piece of pure poetry for poetry's sake. He wrote this poem for his dying father. And I think that as immortalists, as cryonicists, as people who care about other people, as moral people, we have to at least consider doing a small act that could save people's lives. That could save people's lives in the only meaningful way. Permanently. If you save someone's life by saving them from a pond physically, you'll save their life, but they're still going to die. It's unfortunate. But if you save someone's life by getting them to become a cryonicist, you've saved their life permanently. And I think that as immortalists, as moral immortalists, try saying that 10 times fast, we have a duty to at least mention cryonics to our friends and family. Thank you very much. Were there questions? Or I don't.
Chance to ask questions, Caitlin? Please repeat the questions as they come in.
If not, there's not a problem. Yes.
When you're frozen, you're still alive?
Well, he said, when you're frozen, are you still alive? Well, you're not alive, but you have the potential to be alive. I'm not an expert in cryonics, but your brain state is nothing. But if you are frozen, in the future, there's a chance that you can be brought back. If you're incinerated or left to rot under the ground, there's no chance you could be brought back. So that's why I'm saying, even if you think the chances are slim, cryonics is your best bet at living for as long as you like. Yeah?
While you're frozen, you're not really living. And when you're unfrozen, all your friends will be dead.
Well, that's why you should convince your friends to join be cryonicists. You can save their lives too. Yeah, or that is a tragedy that your friends would die. And
It would be a tragedy to be alive without knowing them, too.
I disagree. I would like to see the future. There's so many amazing things we've yet to see, and I would love to be there to witness it. Thank you. Yes?
What is the ultimate goal of cryonics?
The ultimate goal of cryonics, Well, I think the ultimate goal of cryonics is to successfully vitrify people upon death, and then, as Max Moore said in the video, allow future technology to bring them back and let them have a choice of how long they want to live. Right now, death is compulsory. With cryonics, it becomes a choice. It becomes something you say, you know what, I'm sick of life, I'm done. Or you can say, I love life, there's so many amazing things, I want us to be here as long as I can. And it gives you, the point of cryonics is to give you that choice.
Okay, so what is it then when you freeze somebody? It seems to me that you have a philosophical presupposition that human beings are the product of material causes, and if you can control those material causes, we potentially live forever.
I will say, I am a materialist. I do believe that humans are the product of materialist causes. I am not a theologist, theologian, and yeah, there you go. So I'm not an expert. I don't know enough to speak on the relationship of spiritual connections and material bodies. But I think Descartes wrote an interesting piece on that. Yes, thank you. I can't hear you.
The question is, if someone has brain cancer, would they then consider being cryonically suspended?
Brain cancer is definitely not, just like Alzheimer's and other diseases of the brain and mind, is not a reason to not be cryonically suspended. What you're hoping on is just like Max Moore said in the video, in the future, there may be future cures for these diseases that you're suffering today. And what it comes down to is that the information contents of your brain is what's saved. And that's why there's other issues at hand here, like the death with dignity movement, and it's controversial and out of the scope of this conversation. But if I were to have brain cancer, I would most certainly be cryonically frozen. Worst case scenario, you don't make it back. Best case scenario, you do. As compared to being buried or incinerated, there's no chance of coming back. And I love life so much that I want to see what's happening, even if it's a tiny sliver of a chance. And that brain cancer or Alzheimer's might make that sliver smaller, but I think it's worth it.
The guy that they froze his head, they want to connect it to a new body?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, what you're asking has a number of answers to it. But before we go there, what I'd like to do is thank Caitlin for her presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I'd like to bring up today, Bill Falloon is going to come up and impromptu have a few words.
Well, for the regular attendees, I hope they appreciate the fact that this is the only place in the world where an update every month is given on one of the most significant projects that mankind has ever endeavored, and that is the reversal of aging processes in elderly human beings. Right now, there are 2 clinical studies being planned. And when I say being planned, it means 7 days a week of work from me and many others, where we are putting together the protocols so that the FDA approves them, where we will take blood components from younger people and separate out certain proteins and cytokines that enable those people to be healthy and young, and put those into the bodies of elderly, degenerated individuals. The objective is nothing short than systemic and meaningful reversal of pathological aging processes. I'm being contacted now on almost a daily basis by some very wealthy people or people who just want to contribute one way or another. They want to contribute their time, some money, they want to contribute their bodies if necessary for this project to work. And I'm not just talking about elderly people. There are young people who say, if I can help with my young blood prove this concept correct, please let me do that. And the reason is, if it works, and we start reversing the aging process, in other words, making older people younger, it's going to give so much more validity to the idea of living for an indefinite period of time. And a lot of people ask about cryonics, well, you're going to bring back people when they're old and sick. Well, that's not the way it works. When the technology evolves to repair the damage inflicted during the cryopreservation process, we will be able to create almost immortal beings. They won't be dying from the problems that they're suffering from now, and they won't be aging. And if we bring them back old, they'll really be brought back in a much younger condition. So we're looking to reanimate youthful, vigorous individuals. But the incredible news is the interest in these two projects, one of them is in South Florida, the other in Southern California, is growing by the day. And I'm interacting with some extremely wealthy individuals, influential individuals. They want to see this work. They want to see it work for personal reasons. They want to see it work for societal benefit. This will change the way we think as a world, because right now, with these limited lifespans, we misbehave constantly. We misbehave because we figure we're going to be dead in 30 to 50 years, so who cares? But if we have an indefinitely extended lifespan, and if people know they don't have to always grow old and degenerate, we think they're going to behave in a more responsible way. And it's one of the tenets of this church is to promote the Creator's plan for mankind to develop the technologies that will result in the evolution of life into an environment of perpetual duration. So just as a general update, which I'm going to do every month, progress continues to be made on this age reversal initiative, which now is 2 separate research projects that will utilize young stem cell mobilized blood components from donors under the age of 23 and put those into the bodies of older people suffering from a myriad of degenerative diseases to see what type of age reversal effects will occur. And in case people don't know, I put this presentation on before, in animal studies, in the animal model, this is working 98% of the time. You take the blood from a young animal and you properly put it into an older animal, the older animal becomes young. It lives the equivalent of 10 to 12 human years longer using very primitive parabiosis technology. Parabiosis is the transfer of the younger blood into the older animal. This is what we're attempting to do right now on human beings for the first time in medical history. So with that, I want to introduce the performer.
Great update, Bill. Some amazing things going on in the world, and we want you to be part of them. What Caitlin was saying is that you have a moral obligation to talk with people about cryonics, if you're a cryonicist, if you believe in the potential. At this church, we talk about cryonics, we talk about age reversal, we talk about the singularity, we talk about all these things, and we're here regularly doing this. So I would suggest perhaps you could have the opportunity to talk with your friends and family, your coworkers, your neighbors, about coming here to hear more about cryonics and about age reversal and the singularity. This is a place, this is the only place in the world like it. It's the this bill, but someone contacted me from Illinois. They want to start a Church of Perpetual Life up there, and we're in talks with other people. So this is your opportunity to come here and to talk to your friends and neighbors. And if you cannot do that, there are people right now live streaming in, watching the presentation tonight. And you can always, if you're away from the area, you can always catch us through our live streaming. And we thank Amy and Douglas back there for all they're doing. Join me in this. If I get a disease that is incurable at this, back in the future when they have a cure for that disease, and come back in the future when they have reversed aging. But I really believe that we will see a reverse of aging within people, for people, before we see the ability to bring someone out of cryonic stasis. And I think we're going to see that very soon with all of the work that Bill is doing and the other researchers around the world are doing. And with all this activity, I think we're going to see that happening very rapidly. The other thing that came up was chronically frozen, and that is whether it be brain cancer or any other type of disease. That's the whole concept here with cryonics, is to be able to come back in the future when that when there's a cure for that. So now we come to a time here at Perpetual Life where we have regular concerts. We celebrate life every day at Perpetual Life, and we also greet the seasons as they're coming and going. We like to mark those occasions, whether it be the equinoxes or the solstices, and we have a wonderful person, a team here to do that for us tonight. Our concert tonight is with Elaine Silver and her husband James in celebration of the fall equinox. You'll find that she is fun, she is witty, and she has a voice that you'll never forget. You may recognize her voice right off, as we have played her songs here often at different past services and presentations. Elaine has performed in concert for hundreds of thousands in colleges, festivals, churches, clubs, and other events throughout North America and in Europe. She was featured nationally on the Wisdom Channel and the New Jersey Network's television program, State of the Arts. Elaine is a recipient of the Garden State Music Award for Outstanding Folk Performer, and she has appeared in concert with Arlo Guthrie, Pete Seeger, Doc Watson, Tom Paxton, Suzanne Vega, and many other folk stars and some of the world's brightest stars. Elaine has worked with many best-selling authors in the field, including Alan Cohen as musical accompanist for his workshops and special events. She's also worked with Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, and Don Miguel Ruiz, Marianne Williamson, Barbara G. Walker, and Neil Donald Walsh. Available for sale? And Elaine Silver. And let me make this work.
It takes a couple of minutes to get set up here.
Right.
Talk amongst yourselves. We have Doug Tesler tonight, too, joining us. Where is he? He's downstairs talking to Chef. Well, we gotta get him up here. It's showtime.
Good job.
Well, while we're waiting for Doug, James and I are going to do one of my newest songs. It's why we're here on the planet. Oh, there he is. We're going to do a song in B flat. Let's have a warm welcome. It's about love. It's about freedom. It's about joy for you and me some. It's about peace and cooperation as I release into transformation. It's about love. It's about joy. It's about peace for every girl and boy. It's about love. It's about freedom. It's about joy for you and me. So let's hear something. It's about peace for every girl and boy, woman and man. It's about love. It's about freedom. It's about joy for you and me, son. And it's about peace and communication. And it's about joy and a high vibration. And it's about love. It's about love. This is your part. It's about love. It's about love. Let me hear you. It's about love. Big voices. It's about love. This will raise your vibration. It's about love and help you live longer. It's about love. Keep going. It's about love. It's about love. It's about love. Unconditional love. It's about love. It's about love. It's about love, love, love. It's about 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 love. Thank you so much. So, the beginning of this last year, this year, 2015, was I had some challenges. We all have challenges, but mine had to do with my health, my ear. I lost my hearing, mostly in this ear, and it kind of put me into a little bit of a downward spiral. And writing music always made me feel better, but I was just kind of in this. I was going to the chiropractor 3 or 4 times a week, and it was like my job to go to the chiropractor 3 or 4 times a week and rest. And I would tell people, and we moved. We bought a little condo up in West Palm, and I'm fixing it up. And I was telling people, I'm resting and nesting. I'm resting and nesting. And then what happened in the spring? What kind of bird was that? We had a bird's nest right in my office window. Those brown birds. Dove. It was a dove. We had doves. There were no other doves in the 600 people, 600 units, but I was resting and nesting, and then there was a mommy and a daddy dove, and they had 2 babies. So I got to sing at a place called the Chapel of Eternal Life. It's a little bit different than the Church of Perpetual Life, but these people, they talk to dead people. And they do readings. And so this woman, Vicki came up to me, Vicki White, I think her name is, and she said, she knew me from a long time ago, and she wanted to give me a reading as a gift. And I don't usually get readings. It's just not one of the things I do. But I said, okay, sure, I'd like to have a reading. And, I was having some challenges, just sort of even moving forward with talking to certain people. I was just kind of immobilized. So I had a reading with her, and she said, your guides are telling me to tell you to listen to them. And I'm like, oh, and I'm asking questions, and I said, well, what about this person? Because I was kind of afraid to talk to this person. We were going to be doing a program together in the summer, and I just wasn't contacting her. She said, oh yeah, she's a really strong person. Your guides like her. Yeah, you two make a good team. And so I got to call her the next day. Oh, she says, oh yeah, we're cool. So that reading, what happened? It sort of turned the downward spiral into an upward spiral, and I've had a really nice, since May. And it brought me to create this next song, which is called Love and Light to You. And it's the whole message about, life is how it should be. Life is how it should be. Life is happening in the moment. Love and light to you. Know that all is as it should be. Love and light to you. Love and light to you. Love and light is true. Love and light to you. Love and light to you. Now I enter into stillness. Love and light to you. From the center comes the goodness. Love and light to you. Love and light to you. Love and light is true. Love and light to you. Love and light to you. See all of creation move in transformation. Love and light is true. Love and light to you. Feel the inspiration. Move into co-creation. This insight is true. Love and light to you. It's about the journey, not the destination. Love and light to you. It's about the joy and the celebration. Love and light to you. Love and light to you. Love and light is true. Love and light to you. Love and light to you. See all of creation move in transformation. This insight is true. Love and light to you. Feel the inspiration. Move into co-creation. Love and light is true. Love and light to you. Life is happening in the moment. Love and light to you. Know that all is as it should be. Love and light to you. Love and light to you. Love and light is true. Love and light to you. 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 Thank you so much. I have a new CD coming out, my 19th. It's coming out sometime this fall, and those two songs will be on it, and this next one will be on it. We're going to do, can you get the clarinet?
Absolutely. Can I bring enough instruments?
I don't know, how many did you, I haven't counted. How many did you bring?
I only brought 3. I usually
Only
bring
3.
like about 8 or 9.
No, 3 is a perfect number.
Okay.
Trinity. This is called On the Passionate Ride. It's really kind of like 2 songs here. The first song talks about how, it works a lot better in life if we just sort of are sweet, you know, and that's a good lesson for me. That's a message for me. All the messages are really, they're for me, but I get to share them with you. And so it starts out with, you catch more flies with honey. You know that expression? You catch more. The real expression, we looked it up, we Googled it. The whole expression is, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. And then there were comments. Where are you going? Where are you going, James? Oh, he needs his glasses. Okay, he's going to catch the flies. All right, so people were commenting. Then someone said, well, you catch more flies with shit. And then somebody else says, you catch more flies with honey. No, you catch more flies. You catch more flies with shit than with vinegar honey. So it was just cute, Tess. Anyway, are you ready? Vitamin break? It's vitamin P for Perpetual. Master aminos. Okay, we all set that. Oh, but wait a minute. There's more. So it's about that, you know, just being nice and being allowing. But then the second part came from the passion test, and I'm a certified passion test facilitator. And the passion test is a very simple yet powerful, profound way of finding out what you're passionate about, and then you make choices and decisions that support your passions. You know, when you're faced with a choice, a decision, or an opportunity, you choose in favor of your passions, then chances are you'll have a more passionate life. And there's two principles. The first principle is clarity. You know, because how do you really know what you're passionate about if you don't have clarity? So you get clear, you know, and the promise is when you are clear, what you want will show up in your life, and only to the extent that you are clear. That's the first principle. The second principle is a little creation process. It's 3 steps. So the first step is, okay, you're clear. So you set a clear intention. You set that, something that you would like to have made manifest or continue to be manifesting. You set that intention, and then you put your attention on that intention, and that's the law of attraction. What we focus on gets bigger. We attract it to us. So we have intention with attention, but then the secret, the big secret that really helped me so much is we have intention, attention, but with no tension. So as soon as we notice that there's tension, what happens to our flow? It stops the flow. So that's what this is about. Catch more flies with honey when you match the infinite vibe. And there are gifts worth more than money. It's a passionate kind of ride. Ooh, on the passionate ride. We're going on the passionate ride. And life can be real funny. It can take your breath away. And just like flies, like honey, we're moving in a passionate way. Ooh, in a passionate way. Moving in a passionate way. Focused on intentions, they have my full attention, releasing any tension. When you focus on intentions, you're giving them your full attention, releasing any tension. Going with the flow. You're going with the flow. You're going with the flow. You're going with the flow. Let's try that chorus together. I am focused on it. I have my full, releasing any tension. When you focus on giving them your full, releasing any tension. Going with the flow. I'm going with the flow. I'm going with the flow. I'm going with the flow. There's you catch more flies with honey. Gratitude greases the wheel. There are gifts worth more than money when we honor how we feel. Ooh, when we honor how we feel. When I honor how I feel. When you honor how you feel. When we honor how we feel. Let's do the chorus again. I am focused on. I have my full attention. Releasing any tension. When you focus on intention, you're giving them your full attention. Releasing any tension. Going with the flow. I'm going with the flow. Let me hear you. I'm going with the flow. One more. I'm going with the flow. Cause you catch more flies with honey when you match the infinite vibe. And there are gifts worth more than money. It's a passionate kind of ride. On the passionate ride. We're going on the passionate ride. On the passionate ride. We're going on the passionate ride. Okay, thank you everybody. So first time I played here was about a year ago. Almost exact. Kip said it was exactly a year ago. Was it? It was the fourth Thursday of September, and it was in honor of the Equinox, of the Equinox. Did anybody?
That's right.
Did anybody balance the egg on its side? You might still be able to do it.
It does work. It's a friend called
It works. I've done it. It works. So. When Neil first asked me to come perform, he said, well, you know, the group that comes, they're not, some of them are spiritually aware, but most of them, you know, they're not that spiritually focused. So maybe you want to think about some songs that are a little more secular. And I said, well, like what? So he gave me a little list, and this was the one that we learned. And it's called Forever Young. May the good Lord be with you down every road you roam. And may sunshine and happiness surround you when you're far from home. And may you grow to be proud, dignified and true. And do unto others as you'd have done to you. Be courageous and be brave, and in my heart you'll always stay. Forever young, forever young, forever young, forever young. May good fortune be with you, may your guiding light be strong. Build a stairway to heaven with a prince or a vagabond. never love in vain, and in my heart you will remain forever young, forever young, forever young, forever young, forever young, forever young. Forever young, forever young. And when you finally fly away, I'll be hoping that I served you well. For all the wisdom of a lifetime, no one can ever tell. But whatever road you choose, I'm right behind you, win or lose. Forever young, 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 forever young. All right, thank you, everybody. Woohoo! That's our theme song here at Church of Perpetual Life. Yay! Let me hear an amen. So the equinox and the solstice and the new year and the dawn and the dusk and the full moon and those rare times, they're rare times, these times in the calendar. And during those times, it's the best time to maybe go to the ocean, go out in the woods and look for fairies. You know, you take pictures and you see all those orbs, or you see the sparkles on the water. You know, everything is energy, right? Would you agree? You're a pretty scientific group here. Is everything energy?
Yes.
Yeah, so we can call it fairies. So it's known as those special times, dawn and dusk, things like that. They're known as the in-between time, you know, when it's going from day to night or night to day or fall to winter or summer to fall. Or those are those special magical times. Who do you think is holding up that egg on its side? Fairies. It's the equinox of autumn, the balance of day and night. It's the equinox of autumn, we're balancing dark and light. It's the equinox of autumn, the balance of day and night. It's the equinox of autumn, we're balancing dark and light. The fairies call this the tween time, when magic is at hand. They will carry you to the borderline, where the goddess can share her plan. It's the equinox of autumn, the balance of day and night. It's the equinox of autumn, we're balancing dark and light. The fairies call this the tween time, when magic is at hand. They will carry you to the borderline, where the goddess can share her plan. It's the equinox of autumn, the balance of day and night. It's the equinox of autumn, we're balancing day and night. We're balancing dark and light. We're balancing day and night. Okay, very good. So last January, it was a new moon, and I looked out. Well, we're going to have a full moon pretty soon, aren't we? We're having a super moon and an eclipse.
Is that the blood
A
moon?
super moon?
Blood moon.
It's the blood moon, it's a supermoon, it's an eclipse, and the moon is at perigee, the closest they can ever get to the Earth.
Could be
That's
trouble.
why it's a
right?
super moon. 'Cause it's big.
18% bigger than normal.
Wait, hold on a second, you guys. This one has a lot of words. Oh, here it is. So last January was a new moon. Now, you know, the moon is only new and full, like, for that long. It's either waxing or waning. When the moon is waning, when it's a new moon getting bigger, that's the time, well, excuse me, waxing. When it's getting bigger, waxing, that's the time where we can intend to call in things that we want to manifest. And when the moon is full and now it's beginning to wane, that's a time when we can release what is no longer valuable or works for us in our lives. So I looked up at that beautiful new moon in January, and it wasn't, you know how the moon, the crescent is usually like this or like this? It was like this, it was like a smile. And she was smiling right down at me. And but what I noticed was there was the wings. That moon had light wings. And it's like those shadows or whatever. I mean, I could see the moon, but I could see the light too. And I thought it might be the shadow of the earth that causes that. But I heard it, I don't think it is, but the song says it is, so. Poetic justice. It's called The Shadow of the Earth, and I'm going to teach you the chorus. It's just, the shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. New moon's waxing. And then we'll sing it later on, and we'll sing full moon's waning.
I like it. Is this a new one?
You've heard this, no? It's the same key. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. New moon's waxing. Let's try that, everybody. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. New moon's waxing. Let me hear you. A time to self-express, to feel the happiness, to vision and request what we see. We're bringing up the vibe, we're singing as a tribe. Our spirits can collide and be free. Let me hear you. Shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. Shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. Shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. New moon's waxing. I open up my heart, the negatives depart, as I do my part for the good. Our spirit's sacred art creates a brand new start, knowing we are heard and understood. Shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. Shadow of the earth gives the moonlight gonna sing full moons. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. Full moon's waning. A time now to release into an inner peace, to let go and to feel the victory. We're bringing in the vibe, our spirits can collide, our spirits can collide and be free. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. The shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. Full moon's waning. A time to self-express as I do my best, knowing I am blessed and I am free. Time now to release into an inner peace, to let go and to feel the victory. Let me hear you. Shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. Shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. Shadow of the earth gives the moonlight wings. New full moon's waning, new moon's waxing, new moon's waxing, full moon's waning, full moon's waning, and new moon's waning, new moon's waxing. Oh, really? The new moon is waxing right now. Thank you. Well, one of the things that I think some of you know that I do is I fill in for ministers on Sunday mornings at some of the more progressive churches like Unity, Centers for Spiritual Living, some Unitarian churches. And so the latest program that I worked up is called Spirituality and the Beatles. So I'm going to do a little bit of the program today. The way this program started was about a little over a year in Dothan, Alabama, from Unity of Dothan. And she's the minister there, but she's actually a Science of Mind minister. So on Wednesday nights, they have a Science of Mind service. And often when I'm up in that area, I'll sing in one church on Sunday and do her church in the middle of the week and do another church on Sunday. Like last year I was in Tallahassee and Panama City, and then I got to go and stay at Glenda's house for a few days, and her husband cooks. It's really, I have my own room. So I feel like I live there in Alabama. But when I called her up to let her know I was going to be up in the area that week, we saw that that was going to be October 8th. And I said, well, why don't I do like a peace, love, and joy through song, and then we can have a birthday party for John Lennon, because the next day is his birthday. She says, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Wow. So that's what we planned to do, and they had more people than they ever had on a Wednesday night. So I thought, there's something to this, the Beatles. So as I was doing, I worked up a bunch of John Lennon songs, my favorite Beatle, and as I was doing this program, I started to see how I could incorporate it actually into these progressive centers. And actually, the Beatles were together for just about 10 years. They got together in 1960. They broke up in 1970. But can you imagine being with the same three people for 10 years and you couldn't really have that much of your own life because you're cooped up with the same three people and you grew up together? I mean, they met when they were teenagers and they grew up together. Wanted to go and do their own things and experiment. I mean, they did a lot of experimenting with drugs. And then in around 1967, they decided that they wanted to see about getting high naturally. So they wanted to learn how to do transcendental meditation. Are there any TMers here? Anybody that ever learned TM besides me and Doug? And Sim? Well, in TM is you get a mantra, you get a special word, probably in Sanskrit, and you sit to meditate, because the reason that you do that is because the energy comes from above like this, and it comes from below, from the earth, and it meets, at your chakras. Very powerful. And you just repeat the mantra over and over, mantra, and you're not supposed to tell anybody your mantra. And it's a special word that you get. You're not supposed to forget it, but you're not supposed to tell anybody. And so the purpose is that once you notice that you're off thinking about something, you come back to the mantra. And then the idea is to get to a place where there's no thought. And that's known as the gap. And when you're in the gap, it's a very powerful place, especially if you have set intentions. You're more in that place of oneness when you're in the gap. So in 1967, the boys learned how to meditate in Wales, but in 1968, they went to India and they hung out with the Mahesh Yogi. They hung out with him, and the Beach Boys went, Mia Farrow went, Donovan went. And so this next song has a mantra. This is a John song. And it has a mantra, and it's sealed with an Om, which is a Sanskrit word, and it's the universal sound of creation, Om. And then he sang this phrase, and when I heard this in 1968, it just sounded like John Lennon being flippant. He's singing, "Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world." So, nothing's gonna change my world, but as I think about it, we have a material world and everything is a thing. But then in the metaphysical world, there's no thing. There's spirit or God or whatever, energy, light, higher power, whatever you want to call that energy. That's a no thing. So my interpretation of this is no thing or spirit is going to change me. And, life is an interpretation. So there's also the interpretation of I'm so steeped in my beliefs that nothing is going to sway me from those beliefs. So, it's up to you. You can interpret it. And then the mantra is Jai Guru Deva. Oh, so that's Jai Guru Deva. Jai means hail or victory or in honor. And Guru is the inner teacher, and Deva is Jai Guru Deva, is God. Sometimes I sing Jai Guru Devi because that's the feminine aspect. And sometimes I say Jai Guru Devi. I say Jai Guru Devi more than I say Jai Guru Deva. so let's try that. Jai Guru Deva. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Words are flying out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither while they pass, they slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy are drifting through my open mind, possessing and caressing me. Jai Guru Deva. Oh, nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world except cryonics. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Images of broken light which dance before me like a million eyes that call me on and on across the universe. Thoughts meander like a restless wind inside a letterbox. They tumble blindly as they make their way across the universe. Jai Guru Deva. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Sounds of laughter, shades of earth are ringing through my open views, inciting and inviting me. Limitless, undying love, which shines around me like a million suns. It calls me on and on across the universe. Jai Guru Deva. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Jai Guru Deva. Nothing's gonna change my world. Let me hear you. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Jai Guru Deva. Jai Guru Deva. Jai Guru Devi. Jai Guru Deva. Thanks. That's going to be on the new CD too. I just decided. So, I decided a few weeks ago because I recorded this beautiful waltz, and I wanted to have a particular person that wrote the waltz play the violin. Anyway, I wanted to have her on there, and she never responded. So then I thought, well, if I have to pay her royalties, I might as well pay them to Northern Songs and do a Beatles song. So I'm going to do that across the universe. And so I'm going to do a little bit of the program, a little bit more of the program. So just a little bit of this one. George, this is a George song. Now, my program is spirituality and the Beatles, so it's not necessarily Beatles songs, but these are songs that were written by people who were in the Beatles or by the Beatles. So, George was really, I think, the most spiritually connected. I mean, he was even religious in the terms of he became a Hare Krishna devotee. And in 1970, he had the album All Things Must Pass, and I remember hearing him chanting the Maha Mantra. Maha means great. The Maha Mantra through his hit My Sweet Lord. So we're going to do just a little bit of it.
I love that song.
Let's see. My Lord, my Lord, my sweet Lord, I really want to see you, I really want to be with you, I really want to see you, Lord, but it takes so long, my Lord. Now, he really wanted it. Obviously didn't want cryonics. My sweet Lord, I I really want to know you. I really want to go with you. I really want to show you, Lord, that it won't take long, my Lord. Hallelujah, my Lord. Hallelujah, my Lord. Hallelujah, my sweet Lord. Hallelujah. Really want to see you. I really want to be with you. I really want to see you, Lord, but it takes so long, my Lord. Hare Krishna, my Lord. Hare Krishna, my Lord. Krishna Krishna, my Lord. Hare Hare, my Lord. Hare Rama, my Lord. Rama Rama, my Lord. Hare Hare. Let's hear Okay, just a little bit of Hare Krishna. Yeah, he passed over with his beads, doing the Maha Mantra. And when that came out in 1970, I was raised Catholic. I had all kinds of guilt and fear growing up, but I didn't have any of that attachment. And I was singing a Hare Krishna. I loved it. I just loved it so much. And so we move on. I wanted to do a Paul song. And when the Beatles were getting towards the end of their being a band, think about it. It was like a bad marriage after a while. And can anybody break up a happy couple? Mm-mm. Can anybody break up a bad marriage? No, but they could help. I don't think Yoko Ono broke up the Beatles, is my point. But they had their own things going on. It was time. So Paul was going through a tumultuous time during then, and he had a dream one night, and his mom came to him in the dream. And his mother had been gone a long time, and it was one of the things that bonded Paul and John when they met, because they were teenagers and they had both recently lost their mothers. So she came to him in this dream, and basically she said to him, allow it, allow it, allow it. But she used the words, let it be. Because Mother Mary is not the Blessed Mother. That was his mom's name, Mother Mary. So we're going to do a little bit of let it be. See, I'm a Beatleologist. I took the test, and I'm going for my master's. I'm a member of Beatles University. And you think I'm kidding, but I'm not. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me. There will be no sorrow, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be no sorrow, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
We've never played this.
No, Doug's never played these songs.
No.
Oh, here it is. So, we did a John song, and we did a George song, and a Paul song. So this next song is a Lennon McCartney song, but Ringo sang it. And the way I talk about the spiritual aspect of this, this is spirituality and the Beatles, is that, we're born and we have basic needs. Basic needs. Now, there's a difference between what we want and what we need. So what are our basic human needs when we're born? Food and water, air, right?
Love.
Food, water, shelter, clothing. Those are number one. The next level is relationship. You could be alive but not really have much of a life if you don't have other people. Because, we're not rocks, we're not islands. We need, it's like people who need people. That's another show. So we're going to end the Beatles section of the program tonight with this one that honors our friendships and our relationships and our loves. What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ear and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with little help from my friends. I get high with little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with little help from my friends. What do I do when my love is away? Does it worry you to be alone? How does it feel by the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own? No, I get by with little help from my friends. I get high with little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? You need somebody to love. Could it be anybody who wants somebody to love? Would you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain that it happens all the time. What do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. Oh, I get by with little help from my friends. I get high with little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with little help from my friends. Do you? I just need someone to love. Could it? I want somebody to love. I get high with little help from my friends. I get by with little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with little help from my friends. Yes, I get by with little help from my friends. With little help from my friends. think, yeah, we have time for a few more songs. We have time for a few more songs. So, James, why don't you come back up here? Yay, James. James Beloved Alexander on the bass, and we have Doug Tesler on the woodwinds. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have the circle goes round and round? We're going to do the circle goes round and round, except tonight we're going to sing the circle goes round and round and round and round and round, and it never stops. I had written this a long time, well, let's see, about 3 years ago, and it was, I was getting ready to help with a full moon circle gathering at Unity in St. Petersburg, and I don't think Neil told you, but I'm a priestess in the Temple of Isis, so I've worked with lots of ritual over the many years, and the Temple of Isis is in California, and it's been there a long time, and because of all the priestessing work I've done, she gave me a scholarship and gave me the title of priestess. So I'm very proud of that, and I was getting ready to help with this full moon gathering, and it was for the harvest moon. So it was right around now, a few years ago. And the woman who was telling me about it, she said, it's the harvest. You sow what you reap. And I'm like, no, you reap what you sow. But then you sow what you reap, and then you reap what you sow, and then you sow what you reap. Unless you're Monsanto. So I went up to we have a little mountain in Sarasota. You can go and watch the sunrise there, which is unusual on the West Coast. So I went up there, and I'm watching the sunrise and thinking about, wow, it's really early, and maybe I'll go over and I'll watch the sunset later on in the Gulf of Mexico. And noticing that, oh, there's the sun, and it's a circle, and the moon, we're having the full moon, and that's a circle. And then I started to realize how everything in life is a circle, and life is a circle. We wake up in the morning, we're all awake for a while, we go to sleep, we wake up in the morning, we go to sleep, we wake up. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, January, February, March. Everything is a circle. So, we're going to do the circle goes round and round. And that line, the circle goes round and round. Would you help us with that? You have great voices. The circle goes round and round. The circle goes round and round. That'll be your part. We wake each morning and at night we sleep. Circle goes. We reap what we sow and we sow what we reap. What goes up has to come down. Like a spinning top dancing to the sound. Harvest moon, big full moon, circle goes round and round. Sun to sun and moon to moon, circle goes round and round. Circle goes round and round. The earth is our mother, the circle goes round and round. We must take care of her, the circle goes round and round. She changes everything she touches, the circle goes round and round. And everything she touches changes, the circle goes round and round. Harvest moon, big full moon, circle goes round and round. Month to month is moon to moon. The circle goes round and round. The circle goes round and round. Let's hear it again, Doug. We wake each morning and at night we sleep. The circle goes round and round. We reap what we sow and we sow what we reap. The circle goes round and round. 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 Thank you. All right. The show must go on. I'm excellent. It's just my vocal cords are a little.
I'll do Stairway to Heaven. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Jay. Doug's gonna do Stairway to Heaven.
Do you take any requests?
On the back of $100 bill.
Hey, that's a good one. I
What
like
is
that.
it? What?
Well, since you have a wonderful flutist, I was wondering
I know.
He won't play any of my music, and I won't play any of his.
You mean Ian Anderson? Yeah.
Do you want to play? Do a little Jethro Tull. You can do it a cappella, right? You know, he'll do a little bit for you. We want to please the audience. Plus, I'll give my voice.
I don't know which one to do.
Very good. Yeah.
Ugh, see?
Yay!
See, I got to get into the mood of it, and I'm really not. See, it really needs accompaniment, too. It's hard to do Ian Anderson without any accompaniment. Yeah, exactly.
All right. I wanted to do. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Hey, we're going to do a few more, and I wanted to do one that. Oh, that's right. I know that one. We're going to do Children of the Earth Tribe. I dropped something here. Okay. So Margot Adler, does anybody here remember Margot Adler? She was on NPR for many years, and 2 summers, 2013, I was at a women's retreat in Rome, Massachusetts, and hadn't been there in a while. I was the resident fairy priestess there for a number of years, and then I wasn't there for a few years, and then I went back in 2013, 14, and 15, and in 2013, wow, I was old enough to become croned. I was in a croning ceremony. I got crowned. I got a staff. Yeah, so now now I wear a crown of wisdom, supposedly. But Margot was there, and she also was, we were crone sisters. And she was a wonderful singer. And she was getting ready to come back the following summer, and a couple weeks before, she passed away. She didn't know about cryonics. Too bad, because she was a treasure. And the woman, Eclipse, who is kind of in charge of Woman's Soul, got to communicate with her. You know, some people get to communicate with people who are dead or mostly dead. And Margot was singing this song, and Eclipse was a little bit surprised, but this was Margot's message to the planet, and it's called Children of the Earth Tribe. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up now. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up now. That's your part. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up now. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up now. Some say namaste. Some say Homi Takuyesin. Some say oh. Some say shalom. We all call Mother Earth our home. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up now. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up now. Protect her, respect her. Please don't neglect her. We all offend. Earth Tribe, rise up. Children of the Earth Tribe, rise up now. 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 Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Well, we're going to do one more. My voice is really, I had I guess, change of the seasons cold last week. I don't think I've been sick for a year. So, I had an adopted Jewish mom named Elaine Lipka, and she passed away just a little over a year ago. But, I would say, talk Yiddish. I would stay overnight with her, and she would like rub my forehead and tuck me in. And we were like spiritual mother and daughter. We just loved each other. And I lived with her for 4 summers up in New Jersey and helped take care of her. And then she passed over. But one of her favorite expressions was, she'd say, enjoy every moment. I would call up and I'd go, Dvegala. That's what her dad called her, Dvegala. And she'd go, hello, my darling daughter. Well, she used to say, enjoy every moment. And so when I first heard her say that, I'm thinking, that sounds like a lie. How can you enjoy every moment? You know? But some of us started saying it. More and more of us started saying, enjoy every moment, enjoy it. And we would go, enjoy every moment. And it would just make us feel good. It would just raise our vibration. And so I was away for 3 months last summer, and I had just gotten back to West Palm Beach, and I was there for 15 minutes, right, James? I was home for 15 minutes. I got the call. She passed. So the next thing, I'm in the office on the computer getting a plane ticket to go back up there 2 days after. And no, the next day? No, I went up on Sunday, right, Sunday afternoon. And they had the funeral on Monday. They waited for me. Typically they wouldn't wait, but they waited for me. And on the plane ride up there, that song came out, Enjoy Every Moment. So I'd like to teach it to you. So your part goes like this. Can you play the clarinet on this? Right. Clarinet's my favorite. Wait a minute. And so before we start, I just want to say thank you for being a wonderful audience, and thank you, Church of Perpetual Life, and thank you, Neil, for being such a big fan of ours and inviting us to come
Thank
on
you.
the quarters.
Thank you.
And to commemorate those tween times, those fairy times, where you can conjure up some magic. So, enjoy every moment, enjoy your life. When you enjoy every moment, you shine your light. Let's try that part. Enjoy every moment, enjoy your life, enjoy your life. Enjoy every moment, enjoy what's here, enjoy what's here. When you enjoy every moment, the truth is clear, the truth is clear. The love of God is blessing you, the light of God protects. The power of God is watching, and God's presence redirects you to enjoy every moment. Enjoy your life, enjoy your life. When you enjoy every moment, shine your light. Enjoy every moment, enjoy every moment. What's here, enjoy what's here. When you enjoy every moment, the truth is clear. Life is good and getting better, and laughing seals the deal. Reach out now to one another with hugs that help you heal, and enjoy every moment. Enjoy every moment. Shine your light. Enjoy every moment. What's here? Enjoy what's here. When you enjoy every moment, the truth is clear. Okay, let's hear some. My Jewish mom, Elaine's now gone, but these were her wise words. I share them now with peace and love, and I know that you've heard. Enjoy every moment, enjoy your life. When you enjoy every moment, shine your light. Enjoy every moment. Enjoy what's here. When you enjoy every moment, the truth is clear. Enjoy every moment. Enjoy every moment. Your life. Enjoy your life. When you enjoy every moment, shine your light. When you enjoy every moment, shine your light. All right, standing ovation. Woohoo! Namaste and namasko.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Right. Well, we'll be back. I think we're going to be back around the solstice, right?
I hope so.
We'll be back around the solstice.
Yes.
All right.
All right. The Reverend Faerie Princess Elaine. I didn't know you were a princess. No, priestess.
priestess.
Priestess. That's
I'm
it.
a princess too, half at least. I'm half Jewish.
Thank you. So it's Faerie Elaine and the Silver Stream. Is it still?
Faerie Elaine of the Silver Stream of Consciousness.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yes. Well, thank you, and thank you all for coming. And those of you who joined us online, we'll be back again in the future. If you signed in today, we'll be in touch with you by email for future events and what those events will be. I'd like to invite you to come downstairs, enjoy a meal with us and some refreshments, and we'll see you downstairs where we can chat informally. And also downstairs, Elaine has her table of music and art and some jewelry, some beautiful things that you can pick up for some gifts or for yourselves. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you downstairs.